Okay, I'm live, family. How you guys doing? Waiting for me to come on through. What's up to we have one of our newest family members. How you doing? Beautiful. Welcome, welcome. I'm glad that you are here. As we have you guys coming on through, we're going to have a really good conversation. So, not only am I going to point out these stories that are in the news coming out of New York City, but we're going to have some clinical conversation around these stories because, as you all know, it is Mental Health Fridays. And I would be doing you all a disservice if I did not help you guys make sense of the craziness. And so I want some people to know that you have to have on your bulletproof vest when you come to my shows. You have to have on your Teflon shield when you come to my shows because when I start addressing the Black community, people are going to get their feelings hurt. I just want you to know that because the truth has got to be spoken about and it has got to be told. I want to be able to explain what's going on with my voice in which might surprise some of you all. Here's some of my members to the page. How you doing, Queen Mother? Another member of the page. We got here for truth. How you doing, brother? How are you doing? I'm so glad you guys are here. We got our sister Mary from the page. How are you doing, beautiful? I'm so glad you guys are all here. Um, I hope you're ready for the truth, as Here for Truth would say, right? You're here for the truth. But before we go ahead, let me give you guys some news that is not the best news. Look at my other community member. We got Sid in the house. What's up? We got another community member logging on. We got Cedric in the house. Audra's in the house. What's up? My whole family's coming through. I love you guys. I really do. Here's the thing. Believe it or not, family, I have a headache beyond belief. My throat is sore beyond belief. And I have gotten over the hardest part, which was my breathing. I am COVID positive, just so you guys can know. Salute to you too, young elder. How you doing? How you doing? I am COVID positive, family. It is what it is. I've been surviving it. So, it's a real thing. It does suck. It does suck. My asthma, I overcame it. I my brain is going too. I up my root teas, my oregano, my rosemary, my thyme, all that stuff. I've been doing it. Um, I made it over the hardest. I only had to take my pump once. I made it over the hardest part. 7 days in, I got another 7 days to go. Today I woke over a headache really bad, so my head is really hurting, but it's not going to stop me from being here. And I do have chills. I'm freezing. Just so you guys know, I'm extremely cold. Um, my daughter, who's in the medical field, she's been really good, and she had COVID, and I didn't get it from her. But COVID is one of those things where you can be as safe as possible, and you run across somebody, and even if they got a negative test, I got a negative test that came back, so I thought I was good. And then 7 days later, them symptoms hit me even harder. And then I got tested again, and it was positive. So it sucks, but I can't let today go by because I'll keep missing y'all. So listen, I'm here. I'm not going to be able to scream and yell because we don't want to trigger my asthma. I've been holding on to that really, really good. And I'm heavy on my vitamin D. Y'all know I'm heavy on that sucker. So I'm good, baby. We're going to get through this. But let's talk about these things right here that's going on in Harlem, New York. Every time I hear something coming out of my hood, anything I hear coming out of New York City just be pissing me off when I see savage behavior. But now we got to dedicate today's Mental Health Friday. We got to dedicate it to the women. All right. We got to dedicate it to the women. So, brothers, I'm going to need you guys to hear us out. Hear us out. Ladies, I'm going to give y'all some pointers too, because y'all falling off your A game. I'm just being honest. Y'all falling off your A game. So I'm going to give y'all some pointers too. But brothers, I need y'all to just hear us out just for tonight. So let's not go back and forth. Yes, I got my zinc too, Ruth. If you only see my vitamin lineup, you're like, wow, she's serious. And this was way before COVID. My vitamin lineup is serious. And I take them every day, including elderberry, baby, and black seed oil, baby. I got them all, right? No, baby, my test ain't floor, black and silver. I was tested negative prior to this because I got tested too soon. I was around somebody who found out the day we met that this person was COVID positive, but didn't know that they were COVID positive because they had a negative test result prior to becoming positive. So you just really don't know. And this is just being in the presence of somebody, not even doing anything with the person, just being in the presence. And I got COVID. So you have to understand that this is something different that we're messing with. It's something different. But if your immune system is good, you should be able to overcome it. So let's get back to the conversation because we ain't got all day. And plus, I'll be going hot and cold. I thought it was my perimenopause, but it's not. But here it is. Men, I need y'all to listen just for today. Don't give us a hard time today, fellas. I need y'all just to listen because these animals and these savages that are in the street, it may not be some of y'all and it may be some of you. I don't know. We don't know each other personally. But I'm going to need all the respectable dudes to do better jobs at mentoring, correcting, and chastising other men because us women are not going to be able to do it. We're not going to be able to do it. All right. We can keep voicing our opinions. We can keep fighting against it. We can stand in unity with one another. We can do that. But at the end of the day, we're going to need men to step in because what is happening right now is not good. It's not that it's happening right now. It has been happening, but we all for one love. We all for protecting the black man, protecting the black woman, and black men, y'all beating our asses and killing us. And that's a problem. That is a problem. So we're going to have this conversation tonight, but I just need guys to be able to open up their ears. All right. This is not a men bashing section. It's not a men bashing session, but we have to have these conversations. So it's going to be 3 stories I'm going to be bringing to you guys. The first one I'm going to be focusing on is the first two I'm going to be focusing on is out of Harlem, New York. Out of Harlem, New York. Both of them are. And then the third one is out of Washington Heights. They're all New York City, but they all have a theme that is going on that I'm going to help you guys connect to at the end of these videos. I'm going to tie into a mental health disorder I want you guys to pay attention to. And then I'm going to try to help the women as best as I can to give you guys some pointers of where I feel as women we are falling off. So this is going to be as even as possible in this discussion, but we have to be as real as possible. So let's get into the first video. Let me go ahead and share this video. I know some of you guys have seen it. Some of you guys have not. But we all going to watch it tonight with Dr. Shonna. We're going to have a conversation. We're going to have a conversation tonight about this video. So let's get this thing going. Computer's a little frozen. I don't know what's happening here. Are we serious? Okay. Are you guys seeing me again? Are you guys seeing me again? Am I back? Am I back? Are you guys seeing me again? Let me know if I'm back. I need you guys to let me know in the audience. Okay, great, great. So that means that I'm back. So let's try this again. Y'all just stay there. If something happens again, just stay there. I'm going to come back until this computer starts acting right. In the meantime, share the video, everyone. I need you guys to share the video. All right. If you are on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. Give this video a thumbs up, thumbs up. To my 12 haters out there, go ahead and give the video a thumbs down. Whatever you do, just keep the video going. Keep the algorithms going. To my Facebook family, go ahead and like and follow the page. We got to get the likes up. The follows are doing well. Get the likes up. Give this video a thumbs up. Give the video a heart, an angry face, whatever you want to do. Just go ahead and engage. So let's go ahead and get this shared. Let's try this again.
The search continues tonight for the men who attacked a woman after she told one of them she didn't want him to buy her a bottle of wine. Tonight, she's getting a show of support from her community, calling for justice. CBS 2's Corey James reports from Harlem.
A large crowd of people stretched across 128th Street in Harlem Saturday night, many of them standing directly in front of this liquor store where a 31-year-old mother was brutally beaten Monday. The demonstration was the end of a rally that began 3 blocks away as women, men, and children stood on the corner speaking out against violence targeting the neighborhood.
If we don't do it, who is? It's our responsibility. It's our duty to protect our women and children in our community.
It could have been me, my daughters, my mother, any female. The community as a whole, we all need to stick together.
Earlier this week, CBS 2's Lisa Rosner spoke with the woman assaulted. She says the man wearing a red parka in this surveillance video offered to pay for her wine, but she politely declined. After checking out and walking out the store, the woman says a group of men chased her across the street, then kicking her, one of them even biting her on the forehead.
No matter how much I asked, I'm trying to get to my daughter, please leave me alone. I said I'll call the cops. He didn't care about that. He had one thing on his mind, and that was to attack me. That's what he wanted to do.
The victim's family members showed up to the rally in support of their cousin, who they say is still traumatized.
People can't think that they can do what they want to do. No means no. Senseless, no reason. She didn't even know them. We need them caught. That's our main objective.
And police are hoping this footage will help make that happen, so that the woman who was attacked can have justice and her sense of security restored.
I definitely want to see him locked up and put underneath the jail for what he did to me, because I didn't deserve this.
And the woman assaulted says one of the men also took off with her phone after snatching it out of her hand. Police say they have no new leads in this investigation and are asking anyone with information to contact them. In Harlem, Corey James, CBS 2 News.
Okay, family, that's the first story. That is the first story, y'all. Go ahead and hit the like button, family. Go ahead and share the video. Go on and do all the things. Let me tell you something. This is problematic. We got a new member to the community. Welcome her to the community. Thank you so much, Lee Graham. I appreciate that. I want y'all to know this. I was talking to somebody today on the phone. And the person, when you're in New York City, especially if you're from the Harlem area, 128th, they got the projects over there. That area is very familiar. And he was saying that that's not the full story that's on the streets. And we was having a conversation about this, and I wasn't getting myself upset, maybe because I don't have the energy to get upset, right? And also because the person wasn't arguing against me. The person wasn't making excuses. But the statement that was made was, was not the full story. To my understanding, Shorty had said some disrespectful things, and the way she turned them down. And, no, there's no reason for what happened, but that was what triggered the incident. So my comeback is this. I don't care what she said, to be honest with you. I don't care what she said. That was savage behavior. And they didn't give any regards anyway. See, I don't know about you guys, but I grew up in the streets of New York. And there was a time, ladies, now correct me if I'm wrong, ladies from New York, where are all my New York people? Let me know if you out there, because this is probably something that other people in other areas experience too, but I can only test for New York. I can only attest from Harlem, and I can only attest from the Bronx and Brooklyn, that men have been ruthless for a very long time on the streets when it comes to women. And when I was growing up, there's been plenty of times where they would try to holler at you, and you could politely tell them, I'm not interested, or I'm not single, I'm not available. Thank you, I appreciate that, I gotta go. You could be nice, you could smile at them. And there were times that they used to throw bottles at us when we rejected their numbers. Bottles, because of their fractured egos, because of their poor self-esteem, because of the fact that they cannot withstand rejection. Just a simple no, thank you, I'm not even single, I appreciate that, thank you for the compliments, the smiles, and keep it walking, used to have bottles thrown at us when we were younger. We used to know to avoid large crowds with boys, Black boys at that. And I'm not trying to be funny, brothers. Please, y'all know I love y'all. I'm not trying to be funny, but we got to tell the truth for what it is. There be times when we would say no. Black men that look like us would throw bottles at us, or try to spit at us, or run up on us and flinch to try to get us to jump like we were scared of them. This is what they would do if you say no. So when I read this story, when I heard the story, it reminded me of that when I was growing up. It reminded me of the time when we had to be so strategic in how we came across these guys. Because at any time, we might get hit in the head with a bottle or get our face cut. That was another thing that they were doing. Or get robbed. They would run your Jordans. They would run your 8-ball jacket. These are the things that they would do. All right? They will run your Harachis, whatever it is you had at that moment, just to diminish your value and your worth, to hurt you because they were rejected. So this is exactly what this reminds me of. And so what bothers me so much about the situation is more of us are not even talking about it, to be honest with you. This is nothing new. This is not new behavior. This is sick-ass behavior that has been happening in our community for a very long time. And when these things happen, they're swept under the rug. They're diminished, right? They're ignored, and we're not making a big thing out of it. Where in fact, this should be something that we're rallying against, because these boys are people's children. People know where these boys are at. And so there's a lot of things in the hood that needs to be addressed. Like this snitches get stitches situation, or I'm not a rat. When you can brutally attack a woman, bite her in the face, kick her, punch her, spit on her, that's not okay. And so us women, we could talk about this all day, but if the men don't stand up and if the men don't do anything, it's not going to change. Right? It's not going to change. Sid is saying that he hasn't heard of anything like that. It must be some North shit. I don't know if it's up north or not, but I know this has been the norm in New York City. This, when I saw that, that triggered me, because I had so many bottles thrown at me. I had to fight dudes growing up because of their disrespect. Do you really think that I want to have to blow hands with the dude? I had to hit dudes in heads with wrenches for disrespect. And so I feel for this woman of what she got to go through. And I'm not going to lie to y'all. I'm going to keep it 100. I'm going to keep it Gucci. I avoid crowds like that. And I shouldn't have to avoid my brothers. I avoid crowds like that. That's called prejudgment. That's called prejudice. That's called discrimination, and I do it. Because I don't know where their mind is at. I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know if they've been using drugs. I don't know if they're just criminalistic animals. But what I do know is what I'm seeing in these streets ain't normal. I do know as a mental health clinician that what I'm seeing in these streets are actually dangerous. And I think that so many of us have normalized it in our communities because we're so used to it. I don't know about you, but I don't want to get used to that. I don't know about you, but I tell my daughter to leave this house protected. There's a lot of stuff you can buy to protect yourself off the internet, baby. Ain't nobody got to know what you got on you. Right? But it's unfortunate because when some of these brothers see us, they don't see us as a being to be loved and protected. Right? Somebody's saying they do it here in North Carolina as well. This is happening in so many places. And at this point, I'm so frustrated because other than telling you guys that there's a mental issue going on here, in which I'm going to discuss after the third video, we're going to discuss the mental issues. But other than telling you guys that there's a mental issue going on here, I don't know what else to tell you all. We got to start being smarter as women in the street with how we're moving. And I don't want to scare anybody, but we got to be smarter. We got to exercise some discretion for certain hours of the night that we leave in, discretion of the type of crowds we're walking into, discretion of the kind of communities that we're going into. Something is happening right now in this era where people have let their guards down. See, growing up as a child, as a teenager, we knew that we had to go in packs and pairs. We knew that. And in the streets was dangerous in the 80s and the 90s. Don't ever get it twisted. It was dangerous. And we absolutely knew we could not move alone. My mother used to always say to us, go together, leave together, right? And even though sometimes we want to just get out and meet whoever we was going to meet by ourselves, and sometimes we did do it, there's reasons why our parents tell us those things. None of this stuff is new. None of the stuff that we're seeing is new. It's just getting a little bit more vicious, right? The mindset is not new, but it's like the ante has been stepped up. So when I see women engaging these men, you have a right to tell them no. You have a right to tell them no. You have a right not to be attacked. But we also got to start using our mind differently. Although those things are our rights, we cannot assume that other people are going to respect our rights. I don't know how you guys used to deal with it when you were growing up, but when we were growing up, we used to just give them a fake number or get their number. At that time, we had pagers. We would give them our pager number and we wouldn't even hit back. But just so we can get away safely and alive. Sometimes they will walk with us for a block and we'll be laughing and walking and they'll be asking them what school you go to. Tell them a fake school. Where you live at? Oh, we live on Kingsbridge. Well, why are you over here? Because I'm going to my sister's house. She lived on Fordham. Even though we lived on Fordham. We used to say things like that just so we cannot make them mad. We learned not to trigger them because we knew a bottle would be in our head, or our face would get sliced, or we would get jumped. But the difference is then than it is now that if you're in their hood, if you're in their territory, back in the day, the guys weren't jumping you. The girls on the block that rode with them was jumping you. So we learned how to maneuver in the streets. Right? Somebody said, what the hell? Face slice? Yes. Yes. Where are my New Yorkers? Where are my New Yorkers? This is not new to us. Blades in your buns. Right? Blades in the cheeks. That's not new to us. Right? See the people facts. This ain't new. So you have to learn how to maneuver in the streets. You have to know what to do to shake them off. Right? Here's my New Yorkers. Right? Here's my New Yorkers. Right? A good friend got her face cut across the cheeks. This is what they used to do. So what I'm saying is, we shouldn't have to do this. Right? Look at this. I'm not making this stuff up. Getting jumped was always happening in Brooklyn. That was the norm in New York City. So what I'm saying to you is, I don't know what's happening right now, but I need us women to listen to this video. I need us women to talk to our daughters, because I don't want to make any assumption of what women are thinking. I could just talk about how I was when I was growing up and how I move right now. I'm not entertaining these guys, because I know when I see many of these men, I see crazy. And maybe because I'm a clinician, I don't know. And I'm not trying to be funny. I'm going to tie this all in shortly, but I see crazy. I don't see normality when I speak to these people. And although I treat everybody with love, I'm not stupid. I know our whole community is not going to be saved. I know our whole community does not mean us well. I'm not stupid. Even though I want to be like, you dusty mother, even though I want to do that and say that, I know not to say that. I know not to say that. It doesn't guarantee that nothing will happen, but what I'm trying to do is minimize what can happen or mitigate it from happening. Because when you recognize crazy for what it is, you learn how to navigate crazy differently. We can't talk about how sensitive men are, or how weak their egos are, right? Or how they can't take rejection and then reject them. Even saying, nah, it's okay, I'm good, I don't want your number. Even saying that, it may not sound disrespectful. It is rejection. And rejection is a very hard emotion for so many people to get over. So when you couple that with alcohol, you couple that with somebody who's high, you couple that with somebody whose hormones are raging. We talking about young men, 18 to 25, 26, 27, their hormones are raging. They're not in a normal state of mind. And then we're not even talking about their adverse childhood experiences, AKA ACEs. I already told you guys about ACEs before. We're not even talking about their upbringing. We're not even talking about their trauma. We're not even talking about their criminalistic behavior. You couple all of that in with, hey, mom, can I get your number? You got to look at that shit like that motherfucker might be crazy, and don't even play with him. I'm just trying to say it. Excuse my language. I know I'm trying to stop cursing, but I got to just say it. Yes, freedom, they were big time wrong. They were big time wrong. And what I'm saying is, guys, I need y'all to be the ones stepping up for this. Right? I need y'all to follow up with this. His assistant, Tony Toussaint, is saying, my friends and I were followed from a club in Queens all the way to Brooklyn. These same dudes pretended to be undercover cops and tried to pull us over in their busted Honda Pilot, then chased. Right? This is what they do. This is what they do. I want to show you something else, because this is just not the unruly boys in the street that don't have no mothers, that don't have no fathers, you know, and not, I'm being funny when I say that. I want y'all to know, family, I'm being funny. And the reason why I say it like that is because when we talk about these things, no one steps up really and say, Dr. Shonna, I'm be honest with you, my kids are like that and I don't know what to do. No one steps up and really say that. Nobody wants to claim that is their kids, or their nephews, or their brothers, their cousins, their boyfriends. These animals belong to some of y'all. These animals are your savages. We cannot continue to just point the fingers of these boys without pointing the fingers to the savages that raised them. You know? And even though people would say, well, half of them was raised in a group home or in foster care, you're right. But it started where? But it started where? We can't keep doing this, family. We got to really look at ourselves and look at our households and see how we're managing our households. and how we're raising our kids. And we got to look at our children, and we got to see how our children are maneuvering. Some of these guys get to do whatever the hell they want to do, and their mamas can't tell them shit. They don't listen to anybody. Let me go over to another story in New York City so y'all can see what I'm talking about. That this is out of control, right? These are somebody's children. Let's talk about this story here, family.
So he could take care of himself. Her son's response, he shot her dead. That's according to police and the victim's brother. News 4's Gabi Acevedo is live outside the scene in East Harlem now, and he talked to distraught family members about this. Gabi.
Adam, your description, although tragic, is precise. Police say that 22-year-old Musa Camara shot his own mother in the head. Now, family members told us that the mother and her son had recently been arguing, as you mentioned, Adam, over him getting a job. The victim's brother, the uncle, wants no mercy for his nephew. Family and friends huddled in grief at Lehman Village houses. Fatoumata Denson was a mother of 8. Police say one of her children, Musa Camara, shot and killed her around 9 this morning. The uncle wants justice.
I want him to go rest of his life in prison.
Danson arrived in New York City more than 25 years ago.
Lovely sister. She don't have no, she kind to the entire family, let's say kind to everybody. She always smile and laugh.
Today, she was found dead in her 15th floor apartment. According to witnesses, Musa Camara shot her in the head and ran away. Citizen app video shows the moment police arrested him on 108th Street and Madison Avenue.
He got arrested with the weapon. I don't know the size of what kind of weapon it is, but he got arrested with the weapon.
Family members say Fatoumata had recently pressed her son to find a job, and on several occasions things got heated. A grieving brother, now lamenting the untimely death of his little sister, says he will never forgive his troubled nephew.
Come and look for better life, and she got killed by her own son, which is Musa Camara, my nephew. I want him to go life in prison. No mercy for him.
Police say that Camara was taken to a hospital for a psychiatric evaluation. We are still awaiting word on charges. Reporting live from East Harlem, Gabi Acevedo.
So you heard that, family? You heard that, family, right? This is a family who came here from the Gambia. Now, I want to show y'all something because it ain't just us men that's going crazy, right? This is an immigrant family. They're going crazy too. So it's got to tell y'all something about what's happening with mental health. It's got to tell y'all something. This 22-year-old shot his mother in the head. Ain't no religion in the world was going to save her. Her brother wasn't going to save her from her own son. And that's sad. That's sad. Arguing with his mother, 22 years old. Why would you get that mad about being told to get a job? I don't care how she told you. I don't care if she told you you was a no good black so-and-so. Get a goddamn job. That's your mother. That's your mother. You put a bullet in your mother's head, robbing your 7 siblings of a mother because you sick? Right? Don't tell me FBA men don't do that kind of stuff, Eric. Because if you need me to bring up another video from the South with a 70-year-old that kills his mother, his father, and his siblings because he wanted to hang out on the street, I could bring that one up too. I didn't want to overwhelm you with all the videos, but if you want me to, I could bring that up, Eric. See, we got to stop doing this. We got to stop doing this. Mental health is real. Yes, Lakeisha, a black family, 17-year-old black family in the South. The 17-year-old killed his whole goddamn house, mother and father too. Right? So we have to understand that is a deeper issue going on here. And that's why I say when you come across people, you got to just assume they're crazy. You got to just assume that they're crazy. You know, as a matter of fact, I'm going to bring up that other video. I wasn't going to, but I'm going to bring up the other video. I think we have time to sneak it in while I'm trying to preserve my little voice. Y'all trying to make me lose my voice. But I think we got time to bring it in. I'm going to bring in that other video too of that 17-year-old black family. I'm going to bring it up.
A mass murder shaking an...
Give me a second. I'm going to share this with you right now. Crazy. Crazy.
A mass murder shaking an Indianapolis community. 6 people killed inside a Northeast Side home over the weekend. City leaders expressing their anger at this senseless show of violence.
I want those responsible to know that the full might of local, state, and federal law enforcement are coming for them.
Less than a day after making that promise for justice, IMPD delivered. A 17-year-old family member now behind bars accused of carrying out those killings. Fox 59's Russ McQuaid went back to North Adams Street to get new details about the crime and that teenager's arrest.
Police tell me it was a family argument in the middle of the night that led to mass murder here on Adams Street on the city's northeast side and a pursuit of a suspect across county lines. Police say a juvenile killed 6 family members inside this house just before dawn Sunday, including a pregnant woman and an unborn baby at near full term. Shortly before 4 a.m., police found a wounded teenager in the 3300 block of East 36th Street. When he got to the hospital, according to an IMPD report obtained by Fox 59 News, that teen told police his brother had killed everyone. When police returned to North Adams Street, they found the 5 bodies in the home. The 6th victim was the near full-term baby boy, 19-year-old Kiera Hawkins, who died along with parents Kezzy and Raymond Childs and their children, Elijah and Rita. According to the IMPD report, the survivor, who ran for his life, said his older brother got in trouble for going out Saturday night, and when he returned home Sunday morning, Raymond Childs told his son they would deal with this later. It was sometime later when the child said he heard gunshots upstairs and his sister's voice yelling that they were being shot. The teen said his brother came downstairs where he was with his parents and started shooting.
There's a set of unique facts that our detectives uncovered during their investigation that point us fairly quickly in the direction of this young man.
As relatives gathered on Adams Street Sunday morning, IMPD detectives were tracking down the older brother.
We did receive information from the community, from neighbors, from people that were concerned about what happened.
Overnight, the older teen was tracked to an address in Plainfield and arrested.
We have a serious problem in our community with people who do not know how to deal with their conflict except with a gun or a blade.
As is typical when a juvenile is charged in a capital case, he will most likely be waived over to Superior Court to face adult charges. On the northeast side, Russ McQuaid, Fox 59 News.
A mass murder shaking in Indianapolis.
So we got to stop with these silly ass comments, thinking it's always one type of people. No, not a whole diaspora is sick. And he said something so powerful. That guy said something so powerful where he said there's a problem with people not knowing how to deal with their conflict. And that's what we're seeing. If somebody says, I don't want your number, you're going to bite their eye off and spit on them. If somebody says, thank you for that donation, I appreciate that, right? Thank you so much for that. And you're right about mental health counseling. You're right. But if somebody says, I don't want your number, you're going to bite their eye off, kick them and spit on them. if somebody says you miss your curfew, they're trying to instill discipline and house rules. A mother and a father together with their children. The father says, we're going to deal with this later on. Later on comes and he decides to put a bullet in everybody and kill them, including the unborn child. Because you're going to get in trouble for violating a curfew? Dude, you 17 years old. If you thought you was that bout and that grown, move the freak out. Why does that have to equate to killing your whole household? If you're that grown and you want to run the street, get the freak out. Let me deal with the charge. I'll say you ran away. I want to report you missing. And let your ass stay right outside. Since you grown, take care of yourself. Thank you for that donation, sis. I appreciate that. Since you grown, take care of yourself. That's right, Angela. I had my own at 18. When I left my house, I never came back. Because I knew going back to the Bronx meant death or pregnancy. And it's sad. It's sad that was a mindset, but that was a mindset. I couldn't go back home because going back home meant death or pregnancy. And this is the reality that so many of us in our community have to contend with. We have to contend with this every day in our community. Thank you so much for that donation, Sid. He said there's a sister on the loose in Texas who killed 2 black men in 2 different cities. All right, I'll look at that. I'll look at that article. Right? So what else are we going to say? First, we said it's because there's no fathers in the home. Now we see one with a father in a home who's implementing rules, and he get killed by his son too. So what is the next excuse we're going to use in our community? How many more excuses are we going to look for as opposed to taking accountability that these are our children and they need help? What else are y'all going to tell me? Come on. What else are y'all going to blame it on? I'm here for it today. What else? That's right, Charlotte. Sickness is sickness. And that's what we keep ignoring. That's what our community is ignoring. We want to talk about all the things that occurred to us that got us in our situation, and that is true. That is true. So when are we going to start healing? Or are we still expecting somebody else to come and heal us? Because we keep looking for everybody else to save us, including Jesus. And I'm not trying to be funny. So all the religious people out there, don't get in your bag. I'm not trying to be funny. When are we going to turn inwardly and say, we need help? When are we going to do it? Not when they're 16 and already biting somebody's eye off. Not when they're 17 and already pumping bullets in somebody's head. When are we going to look at our little kids and say, this is bad behavior that we need to correct now, because if we don't correct it, it's going to get worse. And correcting it doesn't always mean beating the living crap out of them. That doesn't always work either. When are we going to say something has to be done? We got kids right now, 6, 7 years old, with behaviors and characteristics that is already telling us right now that if it goes unchecked, they're going to be biting somebody's eye out when they get older. We got little kids right now who have a hard time coping with their emotions, and they want to yell and scream and bully and hit. When are we going to see that this is just not a little kid problem? This is a deeper problem, and it needs services. Why is it in this day and age, if you tell some Black people you're in therapy, they tell you you don't need therapy, you just need to pray and give it over to Jesus? When are we going to stop stupid shit like that? When are we going to stop it? When are we going to stop it? What else has to happen? Right? Let me show you another video. I'm going to show you another video. This is bad. All of this stuff is ridiculous.
Inside a Washington Heights bodega, and now police are searching for at least 6 suspects. CBS 2's Jessica Layton has the story.
Oh, wow. Wow.
This 22-year-old woman can't believe what she's watching.
Came out of nowhere.
It's wild surveillance video from inside this Washington Heights bodega, where she's under attack, defending herself from punches and beer bottles thrown by a group of men and women on July 7th.
How do you feel seeing this for the first time?
I feel shocked. Like, I blacked out because after you get, like, you know, you have anxiety and you get nervous, you don't really remember.
The victim says she was walking to the store to get some food when a couple of guys she barely knows started bothering her, accusing her of contacting one of their girlfriends. A few others joined in and they threw water on her. So she ran into the store to try to get some help, and they followed.
I got hit in my face, my hair, my face, my neck.
Her stepfather saw her getting hit and ran inside to try to defend his daughter, but the group brutally ganged up on him too. He was beaten unconscious.
I thought that they killed him. I thought he died. And I saw him on the floor.
Swollen and bloody, he spent 2 days in the hospital.
He still has pain in his face. He doesn't come outside. He's just relaxing, resting.
Police have identified at least 3 of the suspects. As they ask for help finding all of them, this family is understandably worried, wondering how a trip to the corner bodega almost turned deadly. In Washington Heights, Jessica Layton, CBS 2 News.
I can't make this stuff up. I can't make this stuff up. Can't make it up. I can't make this stuff up. I don't have no words. Family, I don't have no more words. I can't make this stuff up. See, if you ain't grow up in the city like this, y'all never would be able to imagine this. But, you know, we try to make sense of it. We say, oh, but she must have called the girl. Even if she called his girlfriend, did it have to equate to that? It don't matter. If there's allegedly, and I can't say it is or it's not, but if there's allegedly beef between her and another dude's girlfriend, let them fight it out. See, let me tell you another story when I was growing up. I'm trying to tell y'all, you got to know how to move in the streets of New York. You got to know how to move in the streets of New York. Washington Heights is another area. That's why I take my son to get his hair cut. We go to Washington Heights. If you guys have been following me on my Facebook page, you probably saw, you know, back in the days when I used to show y'all my son and I'm getting cuts. We go, Washington Heights is right there. As a child, I grew up in Washington Heights. My godparents are Dominican. And that's where we used to go, in Washington Heights for the summer. That's where I had to spend my summer sometimes with my I'm sorry, not my godparents. My mother is my god sister's godmother. And whenever the block, the family from the block went to the Washington Heights, I used to go along with them. This is what it is. And no matter where you go, it's savage. It's savage move. You got to know how to move. Because the Dominican gangs, Mazatanas and stuff, when I was growing up, they'll cut your face. Say something wrong to somebody, you get your face cut. How they was trying to stump her out, that was the norm. I'm trying to tell you that. And you better fight. You see how she had one of those girls? Because that's how we were raised. When a mob is jumping, you grab one of them and beat the shit out of them while you getting beat down. You make sure you get one of them. You never just sit there and get your body shots. You grab one. And I'm proud of her. I'm proud she was fighting back. But this is what happens. This is not normal behavior. None of us have to be raised this way. We should not have to be in the streets knowing tactics to survive. That's not normal. That's why I left New York City. I said, I'm not raising my kids there. I'm not raising my kids to have to worry about coming home from school, getting jumped by a mob, because I know that feeling. I'm not raising my children in a concrete jungle, because these people are freaking sick. And some of these people are your nephews. Somebody's saying it's not crazy. It's not crazy. Well, let's get into that. Let's see, Brian, if it's not crazy. Let's see if it's not crazy. Because that's the problem right there. And I mean no disrespect. I mean no disrespect, Brian. That's right, Donna. Right? Jump mob culture here now. They've been there. They've been there. You see how they went in the refrigerator and grabbed the bottle and was trying to crack the bottle over her head? I'm telling you, that was the norm. That was the norm. We used to carry sluggers in our jackets, the little miniature thick baseball bats, because you never know when you have to crack somebody in the head, because that was the norm. That's not normal. Why are we normalizing that? Do you know how much stress you're under every day when you leave your house? Because today might be the day you get stabbed, shot, jumped, sliced. That might be the day. That's not normal behavior. And kids are living like that. Hit somebody else. My sister and I was jumped by a mob in late 1989 in Albee Square Mall in Brooklyn. That was it. Oh my God. Oh my God. And what's the other one? Kings Plaza? Crazy. For what? For what reason? Why? And we keep saying things like, it's not crazy. It's the times we live in. No, people are crazy. And that's the problem in our community. We are diminishing craziness because we don't want to accept that as real. Right? We don't want to accept that as real. That's right. I reported to you guys not long ago about the situation in Jersey City, here in Jersey, where the mother was walking past, not even in the liquor store, walking past the liquor store. And the guy asked for her number, and she said, no, thank you. And he pulled out a gun and shot her in her torso in front of her child. And she died right there in front of her kid because she said no to a number. You're going to tell me that's not crazy? That's not crazy? James is saying, thank you for the donation, James. James is saying, I was with my Spelman sister in Atlanta and some guys aggressively approached her and I almost was jumped for just telling them to calm down. That is the truth. And you're going to tell me that's not crazy? Let's talk about crazy because it's time for me to go. I'm going to share this with you guys. We're going to talk about crazy because I'm going to change your mind about that one there. See, Brian is saying, and this is again the denial, but that's okay, Brian. I'm gonna help you out. Brian is saying it's more of a mental health thing and not necessarily a family breakdown. Well, let's talk about that, Brian. We got to talk about that, Brian. Let's talk about this right now. It's called antisocial personality disorder. Now, when I was looking at these videos as a clinician, my mind is always assessing. The first thing I said, this is antisocial behaviors. So let me read to you guys. Y'all can go to this yourself, Mayo Clinic, right? If you have a DSM-5, even if you have an older version, a DSM-4, it'll break it down even more. But let's talk about antisocial personality disorders. I mean, I can get into a whole bunch of different personality disorders that I see in the Black community, but let's just focus on antisocial personality disorders. It says overview. Antisocial personality disorder, sometimes called sociopathy, is a mental disorder in which a person consistently shows no regard for right or wrong and ignores the rights and feelings of others. People with antisocial personality disorder tend to antagonize, manipulate, or treat others harshly or with callous indifference. They show no guilt or remorse for their behavior. Individuals with antisocial personality disorder often violate the law, becoming criminals. They may lie, behave violently or impulsively, and have problems with drug and alcohol use. Because of these characteristics, people with this disorder typically can't fulfill responsibilities related to family, work, or school. Here's some of the symptoms. Antisocial personality disorder signs and symptoms may include disregard for right or wrong, persistent lying or deceit to exploit others, being callous, cynical, and disrespectful of others, using charm or wit to manipulate others for personal gain or personal pleasure, arrogance, a sense of superiority, and being extremely opinionated, recurring problems with the law, including criminal behavior, repeatedly violating the rights of others through intimidation and dishonesty, impulsiveness or failure to plan ahead, hostility, significant irritability, agitation, aggression, or violence, lack of empathy for others, and lack of remorse about harming others, unnecessary risk-taking or dangerous behavior with no regard for the safety of self or others, poor or abusive relationships, failure to consider the negative consequences of behavior or learn from them, being consistently irresponsible and repeatedly failing to fulfill work or financial obligations. Adults with antisocial personality disorder typically show symptoms of conduct disorder before the age of 15. Signs and symptoms of conduct disorder include serious, persistent behavior problems, such as aggression toward people and animals, destruction of property, deceitfulness, death or serious violation of rules. Although antisocial personality disorder is considered lifelong, some people, certain symptoms, particularly destructive and criminal behavior, may decrease over time. But it's not clear whether this decrease is a result of aging or an increase of awareness of consequences of antisocial behaviors. Causes. Let's talk about the causes. Personality is the combination of thoughts. Listen to what I'm saying, family. Personality is the combination of thoughts, emotions, and behaviors that makes everyone unique. It is the way people view, understand, and relate to the outside world, as well as how they see themselves. Personality forms during childhood, shaped through an interaction of inherited tendencies and environmental factors. The exact cause of antisocial personality disorder isn't known, but genes, genetics, may make you vulnerable to developing antisocial personality disorder, and life situations may trigger its development, as well as changes in the brain functions may have resulted during brain development. Risk factors. Certain factors seem to increase the risk of developing antisocial personality disorder, such as diagnosis of childhood conduct disorder, family history. Here it is, right here. Family history of antisocial personality disorder or other personality disorders or mental health disorders, being subjected to abuse or neglect during childhood, unstable, violent, or chaotic family life during childhood. Complications, where it also says men are at greater risk of having antisocial personality disorder than women are. Complications, consequences, and problems of antisocial personality disorder may include, for example, spouse abuse or child abuse or neglect, problems with alcohol or substance abuse, being in jail or prison, homicidal or suicidal behaviors, having other mental health disorders such as depression or anxiety, bingo, low socio and economic status, bingo, and homelessness, premature death, usually as a result of violence. I'm trying to tell y'all. I'm over here fighting COVID, and I'm trying to tell y'all. I'm over here with my head feeling like it's about to explode. I'm trying to tell y'all. I'm over here with no voice from coughing, trying to breathe, and I'm trying to tell y'all. If we don't start getting this shit together, it ain't gonna change. It ain't gonna change. Right? That's why y'all, the black parents refuse to stop subjecting their children to dysfunction. I got one better for you. Black parents are not consistent with getting their children mental health services. I don't care. I don't care. Take your child to counseling. Right? Because you got to understand there's so much child abuse and neglect that's going on in our homes. There's so much domestic violence that's going on in our homes. And here's another thing. There's so much. There's so many people with mental health disorders raising children in these hostile, violent environments. And you can't tell half of them anything because they're in denial. And their children is subjected to hostility every day. You yell at your children every day, you're breaking them down. You curse at your children every day, you're breaking them down. You beat your children every day, you're breaking them down. You call your children names every day, you're breaking them down. You lock yourself in the room and take away affection from your children, you're breaking them down. You fail to tell your children, I love you, you're breaking them down. You fail to listen when they're in pain, you're breaking them down. And you're creating monsters. We're creating monsters. We're creating monsters. And we got to understand this, family. This work tires me. It tires me. And every day I want to give up. But somebody has got to break it down and explain it to our community in a language that they can understand it. Because we're failing. We're failing. We can't keep pointing the finger saying that's dumb kids. Dumb kids are your kids. Dumb kids are my kids. We got to understand what we are dealing with. So I said to you ladies earlier that I want y'all to recognize when you're on the streets, you got to stop seeing people as just people and see them as crazy first. And I'm not trying to be funny. I got to say to you guys in this way community, because that's the only way y'all going to get it. I'm not trying to be funny. I don't have time to package it as though I'm speaking to professionals I'm training. I don't have time to package it as though I'm speaking to people who are under my tutelage trying to get their license to practice. I don't got time to package it as like I'm speaking to the social work conference every year, to my social workers. I don't have time to package it as though I got hired for an agency to come out to train their staff on the issues that are going on. I got to give it to you guys raw so that y'all can get it. You yelling at your goddamn kids every goddamn day. You psychologically breaking them down. You are creating their personality. You are fracturing their personality. You are damaging their personality. I got to tell it to you. Ayana says, I try to tell my mother how horrible it is dealing with her son. And all she did was yell at me and beat me. These people are sick. I think that here's the thing. They are watching us employ the herpes virus as well as other viruses and poison us. Listen, we ain't got time to talk about that when we got people biting people's eyes out. We ain't got time to talk about that when we got sons shooting their mothers in the head. We don't got time to talk about that when we got 17-year-olds killing his mother, his father, or his siblings in the house because he want to go outside. D.F. Johnson says, sadly, I see this every day here in my city. Black mothers calling their children little mother freakers. That's what they do. They call them niggas. They call them mother freakers. They call them bitches. I'm not making this stuff up. I'm not making any of this stuff up. I already said that. I already said it's also social economic issues too, Doc. I already said that. I read it to you over how that also breaks down your personality. I said low social and economic status and homelessness. That will break down your personality as well. So think about the generational poverty. And think about on top of generational poverty, generationally not getting mental health counseling. See, we can't have one without addressing the other. And that's what we tend to want to do. We tend to want to say, well, this is the issue. They don't have housing. We can give them housing. If their asses are crazy, they're still going to be crazy in their housing. Come on, family. 1 + 1 is 2. And I'm not trying to be funny. So y'all got to excuse me for delivering in this way. But I'm talking to my community. And y'all need to hear it the truthful way. We can give you a housing. And if your ass is crazy, crazy is going to show in your new house. We can give you employment. And if your ass is crazy, your crazy is going to show in your job. It has to work in tandem. You need housing and mental health services. You need employment and mental health services. You understand what I'm saying? Right? Somebody said, look at Chi-Town. They destroyed the projects but didn't do anything to help our people. They do that all over the place. They knocking down projects all over the place, giving them little vouchers to go to other poor areas. And the only thing they can say, well, we kept them housed, but you ain't helped their mental. See, because what you saw was, oh, we got to turn down these projects because it's crime infested and the criminal behavior is crazy. Maybe we just disperse them. It'll be better. No, you just sent crazies to another area to be crazy. That's all you did. You didn't change anything. Mental health. There are public clinics that provide free mental health services. Public clinics also accept Medicaid. If you go to a psychiatrist, right, and many psychiatrists also have psychologists and other therapists working with them, psychiatrists are able to take Medicaid. Again, public health clinics have free counseling services. When they changed the laws around mental health, they started to provide these things into low-income communities. You have to go there. You cannot say it's not available. You might have a wait list, but you need to do something. And while you're waiting for your individual counseling, you can go to the group counseling. They run groups as well. You can also go to groups, and many, many, many nonprofit organizations run groups for men, run groups for women, run groups from teenagers, run children groups. They are there. But if we're not leaving out of our house looking for the services, we're not going to find them. And Chelsea, you're absolutely right. You are absolutely right, Chelsea. This pandemic has been very horrible. There go Black Mama in the room. What's up, Black Mama? How you doing, beautiful? Right? So family, I gotta go. Right? Here's another thing. I know y'all ain't gonna like to hear this. I know y'all ain't gonna like to hear this, but you gotta look at the studies. Weed on a young mind, has damaging effects on a young mind. Now, I'm not telling you that weed is bad. I'm not saying that. I'm saying on a young mind, on a developing mind is what I'm saying. On a developing mind, it has damaging effects. Now, you compound that with the environmental situations. And then you compound that with your low socioeconomic status. And then you compound that with abuse and neglect or domestic violence occurring in your home. Or you compound that with your parents being substance abusers or alcoholics. You compound that with not having a job, not having any money. It is a disaster. You ain't got to take my word for it. Don't listen to the doctor. Listen to yourself. Y'all been doing it. Y'all been listening to yourselves all these times, right? And I guess everything in our community is perfect. Don't listen to the doctor. Don't listen to any of us. We don't know what we're talking about. I'm done. Family, I appreciate y'all. Y'all know I'm going to be on Sunday with my aches and pains. I'm going to be on Sunday where I'm addressing the Black community with another issue. We're going to keep on doing this. We're going to keep on doing this till we get it right, family. Until somebody says, you know something? That's my son. You know something? That's my daughter. You know something? That's me. Right? That's me. And then we start calling people in our community looking for the services and looking for the help. Thank you so much for that, Cedric. I appreciate that, brother. Another community member. Thank you for that. Right? Somebody on Facebook is saying, right, a lot of people think that if they go to a clinic, people will call them crazy, when most of the time they just need therapy. And when they fail to do so, it leads into a serious mental health issue. Listen, you worry about going to the clinic with people calling you crazy, your own family members calling you crazy. Right? Biting people in the eye is crazy. Busting people over the head with bottles is crazy. Shooting your mama and your daddy in the heads is crazy. Shooting your mama in the head because she told you to get a job is crazy. Right? My mother used to say, if the shoe fits. All right, family. I do love y'all. I'll see y'all on Sunday. Peace and blessings. Love you guys all. Have a blessed one.